Hi, Sean here, and in this video, we're going to talk about our state tax liens public record. I want you to think about this. Can your past stumbles be a public spectacle out there for everybody to see? We're going to walk through all of those and what that effect will have on you and your family, if any at all. In this video, we're going to cover all that. One of the things we're also going to show you is by stumbling into this area, if you will, there's actually a way for you and your family to prosper financially from this whole prospect. I know that seems like the furthest thing from on your mind right now, but I'll show you exactly how that can lead to other profitable situations that can provide you and your family with financial independence. Just stick around. The very end, I'll show you how you do that. Now, one of the most sacred things in the United States is property ownership. In fact, I think it was Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, and Jefferson that were saying that if we could make property ownership rock solid in this country, we will become the most wealthiest nation in the world. And they were right. So I want you to think about this. I've done real estate deals all over the world. The most profitable place to do them is here. Very few outside the country, and every time I do, I'm like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. United States, by head and shoulders above everything, is the easiest way to get ahead financially is through real estate. I mean, there is literally nothing even close. Well, you've got franchise, buying a business and what have you. Actually, you just buying a job are a short second to the top thing. So more people have become financially independent by doing real estate than any other venue out there. What does that have to do with a state tax lien? A lot to do with it. So you cannot move a piece of real estate. Okay, so the most secure thing that you have out there is a piece of real estate. So when the state says you owe us money, the first thing they're going to do is find out, do you own any real estate? And they can place a lien against that property. Obviously, this is their way of getting your attention. And they have. Okay, so there's a couple of things to understand. All of this is public records. I'm going to go back to the very beginning of when I talked about our founding fathers saying we need to make property ownership, a staple, a cornerstone, a foundation of this country, is that. So not only is it a foundation, but it also is a leverage for you to pay your debts on top of that. Because in other parts of the world, if you owe money, and not necessarily the property is there. Because, again, if you've been in the bubble of the United States, you think that property rights are that way everywhere. And it's not necessarily true. There's been places around the world where they just seized everybody's property, or boundaries, property lines and stuff like that are kind of a mystery. Who owns what and who you ever pay off is the one that actually owns it. And so be grateful that here in the United States we have such a rock solid deal. And I know sometimes it's a pain in the ass when you're looking with title companies and property lines and all that, but there's an upside. There's a lot more good that comes from that than the pain in the rear of a bad neighbor that wants your fence moved because it's 2 inches off. Okay, the fact of the matter is the chain of title, who owns the property, is so clear in the United States that there is no ambiguity most of the time. I hesitate on that because I said, somebody's going to write in the comments. In fact, do that. If you have a comment, you like this video, you don't like this video, write a comment. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. That helps the whole thing get going and me do these things. And we've got a lot of people that are watching this, and I appreciate that, and that's why I like doing these videos. Plus, I see things happening all the time, and I get these questions when I'm out there in the field. I just like to share this stuff with you. And so the one thing about the public information on that is you want this information out there, actually. I know it might not feel so good for yourself, but you're saying, well, wait a second, Sean, how do I benefit from this? Well, you can benefit from it because of the fact that you can also see this on other properties out there. So there is state taxes owed. Their first lever that they're going to pull is on a property asset. The second lever they're going to pull is on other assets out there, cars, what have you. But the easiest one to go after is property, because you can't take it and move it out of state or what have you, if you will. Okay. The other thing that is kind of interesting with this too, if you kind of pivot from this, is property tax liens are also public information. So I cannot buy a state tax lien that's been placed on a property, but I can buy a property tax lien, because here's the key is, it doesn't matter who owns the property. If somebody fails to pay the property taxes on that property after 1 year, then the county can offer those up to a public auction. And let me explain how this works. Go way back in time, back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor. You know, when he was the governor of California, the reason he became a governor because they threw out Gray Davis. He was doing a bad job. You know, Schwarzenegger comes in there, and I'm going to clean up this debt problem. And the first thing he does is says, hey, why don't we look at all these property taxes that are owed to all these counties? Immediately, the counties were like, this is our money. In fact, I do recall, I could be wrong, but like 20 or so counties immediately filed lawsuit when he just mentioned it. They'll say, you can't come after our property taxes. This is what keeps the counties going. This is what provides schools, number one, you know, bridges, fire departments, all that stuff. So here's the key part about it. So a county can say, hey, we need this money in order to raise this capital, because according to our rules, they're handcuffed. We can't do anything with this property for 4 to 5 years. So you cannot pay your property taxes anywhere in the country for 4 to 5 years before anything drastic happens, like taking the property. But in the interim, the county can say, hey, we need our money, so we're going to offer those up to Joe or Sally Public. I don't know why they're named Joe and Sally, but you know, work with me on that. So Joe and Sally come in there and they say, hey, I want to put up the money for that. The county says, fantastic, now we can build our bridges and all that good stuff. And oh, here's a certificate, it's going to go on file, and we're going to give you the state mandated interest rate of, drum roll please, 16, 18, 25%. Yeah. So when the property owner comes in to pay off the property taxes sometime over the next few years to the county, okay, see, I haven't done anything. As an investor, it was already owed to the county. So the property owner doesn't owe you or Sally or Joe, whoever. They still owe the county the money. They go, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to pay these taxes. I've sold the property. I'm back on my feet. And the reason the laws are set up this way is because they feel if somebody goes through hardship, typically there's cycles of anywhere from 2 to 5 years. It started to make sense. So in a 2 to 5 year window, somebody's going to get it back on the feet. But if you don't, they're going to say, you know what? 5 years have come, 5 years have gone. We've got the opportunity to take the property back. Either the county will or one of the investors. In this case, let's say Joe and Sally, whoever is doing that, they can foreclose on the property as if they were the county, and thus eliminating all liens and encumbrances on the property, including any state tax liens on the property. I mean, there's a whole list of things that you need to go through for all this process, but that's the key part about this. See, so you look at an adversity of having a state tax lien on your property. Is this public information? Okay, yeah. Okay, because they have to say, look, we can't just sit there and put a lien on your property and hope nobody sees it. It has to be, hey, heary, this property has a lien on the property, which ensures other financial benefits. By owning a property and not having any liens on it allows me to leverage and go get my money. This is how many Americans have been made their money forever. But they don't want anybody going out there if somebody else is owed money using that property as an underlying asset to secure that loan or pay off a debt that hasn't been paid or what have you. This is crucial. And that's why we stumble into this. This is how I stumbled into this 30 years ago. Somebody was saying, hey, did you realize you can buy taxes on people's properties? I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. Oh, and it pays 16%. I go, now it really doesn't make any sense. Who offers 16%? That's just not realistic because, you know, nothing over 7% or everything over 7% is considered a high risk, high factor. Not with tax lien certificates, because I want you to think about this. I may pay $2,000 or $3,000 in property taxes on a $300,000 piece of property. Okay, so let's say I pay $2,000, they owe me $2,000 plus 16% when they come in to redeem, and if they don't, I get the property free and clear of all liens and encumbrances. So aren't you happy you see this? Aren't you joyous that you stumbled upon this? And here's the great thing. If you want to learn more about this and you want to learn exactly how to process this, I've got a brand new course that will walk you step by step. And it's my gift to you. That's right. That's called free. Gift. Free. My gift to you. And literally, we will show you what states are the best right now in this current economic situation, how to find the list, when the auctions are coming up, who offers the best interest rate, the whole 9 yards. All you got to do is hit the link down below in the bio or wherever they have it inside there. It's HigginsMethod.com. HigginsMethod.com, and we'll see you at that course. This is Saen Higgins saying God bless and good luck.